Hi, I'm Kiyu and I play Pokemon, and I hate how unnecessarily long-winded and complicated it is to get Lucario in most Pokemon games, so I'm going to show you how to find a guaranteed Lucario spawn, which also has an Ice Tera type, as soon as 1 hour into the game. Please bear in mind that even though you can get to it as soon as possible, it is still a very high-level Pokemon, so please prepare plenty of potions, plenty of Pokeballs, and plenty of patience if you also want to catch it and not just find it. Some of you may already have some fast travel points through the map, and for you I'm going to add video chapters for the most important parts on the map that we go through, so you can skip to that point in the video if you can start the journey from there. But for everyone else who just wants to get Lucario as fast as humanly possible in this game, I'm going to start a journey from the very first city that you need to get to in order to be able to achieve this, and that is Mesagoza. As you can see on my map, I haven't actually done anything in this game. So I haven't defeated any titans, I haven't got any gym badges, nothing. I'm going to show you a route which doesn't require anything but walking. So if you want to do this before you even get a Pokemon to ride on, you can also do that. It will just take slightly longer to get there. Now for this, it is extremely important that the starting point is the Pokemon Center at Mesagoza West. Not East, because that's further away, West. That's the closest to the gate, so we can get straight to the next point, which is the Pokemon Center right here. I'm just going to do everyone a favor and fast forward the bits where I'm just walking. You obviously don't have to follow the exact same path that I do, and maybe you just want to get to each of these points in a different way, but I'm recording this for the people like me who like exploring every single crevice of the map and thus get lost really easily. Obviously feel free to skip through the walking parts if you know exactly where you're going, but if not, those parts are for you. I strongly recommend that every single time you stop at a Pokemon Center, you actually interact with it in some way so that you save the fast travel point at that location. Otherwise, it won't do it. From here, the next point on the map is the Pokemon Center at Cortondo East. We're going to just set that as a destination and then just walk right to it. Once you arrive in a city that has multiple Pokemon Centers, if you actually enter the city or arrive at any Pokemon Center within that city, all Pokemon Centers will be available to you to fly back and forth. This doesn't apply to routes. If you stop at a Pokemon Center on a route, like I said, you have to interact with it for it to save, but if it's in a city, it will just do that. I don't have an explanation as to why that's happening, probably because the game just thinks if you enter the city, you've already visited the entire city, but that's just something to keep in mind if you again want to keep all the fast travel locations on the map for the future. Now that we've arrived here, we're just going to fly over to the Pokemon Center on the west side of the city. And once at this Pokemon Center, the next location is West Province 1, the central Pokemon stop. We will also go through the north one in just a second, immediately afterwards, but I'm doing this step by step for the fun of it. I actually quite like walking around this map from one location to another in very, very tiny steps, because that way you get to see everything, and I just find it interesting. But also again, if you get lost quite easily, I find this way of traveling, of setting destinations very close to one another and then just going there step by step, a lot easier. Now this path specifically is kind of the longest one you'll ever have to walk, so don't worry, not everything is going to be this long. And once we're here, like I said, we are going to go directly to the North Pokemon Center, also in the West Province, Area 1. I was very lucky not to run into a lot of Pokemon while I was doing this, because it can get quite annoying, especially if your Pokemon aren't high level enough for this area, which mine weren't. Well, not at the point of filming at least. Obviously, it goes without saying, just because I'm blasting through the route, it doesn't mean that you can't stop and catch Pokemon, battle trainers, and so on and so forth. Now that we got here, this is where it gets interesting. Our next stop is Cascarrafa, which is a city and it has multiple Pokemon stops. Normally, we would route to the one closest to us, which is the West Pokemon Center, but actually we need to route to the one in the north. The reason for that is that there is a Team Star base on the way to the Pokemon Center in the west part of the city, and the game will force you to kind of go through that, sort of kind of, if you go that way. Whereas there is a shortcut right through the desert that we can take to arrive at the North Pokemon Center, which is just easier. Also, I do have to clarify that this is sort of a detour, because immediately after the city, we will go through the desert once again to get to the next point. You don't have to go to the next city if you don't want to heal your Pokemon in between, but I just prefer to go from Pokemon Center to Pokemon Center to keep my Pokemon healed at all times, especially if I battle wild Pokemon. But again, if you don't want to do that, just please skip to the next chapter and I will show you exactly at what point in the desert you need to set your destination in order to get even farther in the journey. Okay, so we've arrived at the Pokemon Center, and our goal is to arrive at Medali, the next city on, but we have to go through the desert because we can't climb walls. It is a bit more long-winded than that, and we have to cross a bunch of bridges, and it is essentially a detour, but if you don't have any sort of capability to climb walls or to glide or anything, this is the way to go. Please be extra careful through the desert because the Pokemon here do have a tendency to just run right into you. Okay, so from here on, we could go to the Pokemon Center right here, but that is a slight detour, and unless you really want to heal your Pokemon, I don't recommend you do. I suggest we just take this path and we set the destination at this bridge right here. Also, if you haven't been this way already, this person will also heal your Pokemon on a picnic and will give you free picnic ingredients if you speak to them. You don't have to enter this cave if you don't want to. You could just walk right ahead from the picnic person and stay on the path that is on the map. But I like going through the cave because I like jumping off cliffs, and I also think it is slightly faster. And now we're just going to set a destination to the immediate next bridge, which is right there. Also, in that cave that I just showed you is where you can find the water Tera type Garchomp. Also really high level, so please be careful. Great, we're here. Now, as I've said before, we need to arrive at the city in Medali. And the closest Pokemon Center to where we need to go is the one in the east. But for the sake of what I've done in the other cities, I'm going to route to the one in the west because it's directly closest to us right now. And then from that, we can fly to the one in the east to further exemplify the point that if you go in a city, it will just make all Pokemon Centers available to you for some reason that I can't explain. Again, if you just want to go straight to the one in the east, there's literally nothing stopping you. But like I said, for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna go here. Okay, and now I'm just going to fly to the other one. And now this is where it gets interesting because we're going to start going through tunnels. So we need to arrive at the Pokemon Center right here. But for that, there are multiple ways to go about it. You could go through the mountains and you can climb walls, but if you can't do any of that, there is a very convenient passage right through the mountain. So we're just going to set a destination point up to the end of the path, as shown here on the map, which is the start of the tunnel. As you can see, there is a sign here that shows that if you go through the tunnel, you will arrive at the next city on, and if you go that way, you will go on the mountain path. We do need to arrive at the mountain path, ultimately, but going all the way up is a lot longer if you don't have the ability to climb, so we're just going to walk through the tunnel, and we're still going to get to the same point. And as I said before, but I forgot to set a destination, that is the Pokemon Center we need to go to, so I'm just going to set a destination now. And here we are. That was really quick, I know. Now we've arrived at the place where Lucario actually is, we just need to wander around for a tiny bit. And my destination point on the map is where Taka is, because he's completed the game, so he was nice enough to get there a lot faster than me and stay there, so I know where the Lucario is. As mentioned before, we are going towards the mountain path, but this is faster. And you can see for yourself that we're getting there quite soon. Now at the end of this, it's very, very, very dark. It's not an end, you just basically need to take a leap of faith and jump into the darkness. I know it sounds scary, but it will be okay. Obviously collect all the items that you need or want to collect. And from here you see the road can go both left and right, so we need to go right. And just as that, you can already see the Ice Tera type Lucario. Look at him, he's right there. And also Taka. We've made it. Now, please don't worry if you got to this point and you still need to prepare. Lucario will not walk into you. There are a lot of wild Pokemon that are high level and also have a different Tera type, which will just aggressively walk into you as soon as you step foot anywhere near them. And one of those is Garchomp. But Lucario is very polite. He's just going to stare at you and yes, he's literally just going to stare at you forever until you decide to interact with him. So please take all the time you need to make sure that you are prepared, and then I wish you the best of luck. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you can get the Lucario that you want. He's a very strong Pokemon, and as some of you may know, he's my absolute favorite Pokemon of all time, so I am more than happy to help anyone else who likes Lucario as much as me get him as soon as possible in this game. Please make sure to like this video and leave a comment if this was helpful to you. And also make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon content by me, which I do make a lot because Pokemon is kind of all I do. And until the next video, take care of your Pokemon, love them, and battle with them well. Bye!